Welcome to the OVX podcast. I'm Dave Claxton. Along with me, as always, is our potential Vegas victor, Bethany McChesney.
Victor, I think you used the wrong.
And for the first time ever, the one and only Anthony Peressini. Anthony Peressini.
How's it going, Dave?
Good buddy. It's been way too long to have this happen, but today we wanted to talk about Vegas. And dude, you know something about Hyrox.
Something.
Something. And you live in Vegas.
And I live in Las Vegas now.
It's just
Back again.
inconvenient.
Yeah.
Before we talk about Vegas, I think we would be remiss not to at least mention Manchester. Um, Anyone want to go first?
I just I went on to check some of the athletes that we had racing over there, and I didn't even know it was happening on Friday because went to go check and the scoring was gone. I was like, where'd it go? I couldn't find their times or anything. And then I noticed that like the major qualification times were gone, the world qualification times were gone, the all-time rankings were gone, like everything. It just wasn't, as a user, I couldn't find what I was looking for, what I was used to. And hopefully that changes. Hopefully like it goes to more user friendly, and maybe it's just something we're not used to yet since it just changed. Uh, but one thing was like I was surprised we weren't told it was changing. Like it was just kind of a shock. I went to go be involved in the races like I like to do on the weekends when there's races. I could live track them. I couldn't do that.
The thing that got me that has jumped out as I'm going to say this is maybe not my biggest issue, but it's one that would really bother me if I was racing is if you didn't come in the top 10 overall or the top three in your age, you have no idea how you did. You might
Unless you
Oh,
search your name.
you can no, you can get your time, but not your position.
Oh yeah.
You could be fourth to 404th. You have no idea. And that would really, really bother me. Like, for example, Ryan and I are racing this weekend. We are not a podium threat, but I want to know how we do, right? Other than just my time, I want to know where we placed, and that apparently at this moment is not accessible information.
So one thing that I noticed is that like when the races are, because obviously there's races happening almost every single weekend. When they're happening and I have athletes at them and I want to watch the live stats, I feel still involved in the race being, countries, worlds apart, right? I still
mhm.
feel like I'm involved in the race. Well, with the timing gone and I'm not able to live track, I didn't feel involved in the race. I was like, oh, like my interest in it like waned. It was gone for the weekend because there was no way for me to track. It was like, okay, well, I guess I'll just wait for it to happen. It's almost like when you have a hockey or a football game that's out of market for you and you can't watch it, like
We're
you're
blacked
like,
out.
okay, I guess I'll just wait until either a replay or I just see the results. And um, I liked being involved, being able to see the stuff before, and now I couldn't. And hopefully that comes back. Like I said, like maybe it was just a bunch of bugs in this rollout.
It does seem like a sketchy time to roll it out.
I mean, it's the start of a new year, so if they had a subscription model that was based on the new year and you had to pay for a full year and they just didn't re-up, then
Yeah, I guess
the
that makes
start of
sense.
it. But I don't like, the season. It's part of the season, but um, hopefully, we got 5.5 months till Worlds, and I really hope something happens before this major because that's important, right? Like
Mhm.
you say this is a big race, it's about to happen. Like let's make sure everything's in line.
Mhm.
I've said this before, and it could end up being a blessing that this
Mhm.
happened in Manchester. Because if all this had rolled out and happened in Vegas, like the fallout could be very big from that. Because all of a sudden now your live stream, everything's going to fall out from it, and everybody's going to see it. It's more than just a local race. Um, okay,
I
so
mean, I don't I don't know. I don't think everybody's as involved, like trying to look people up live like I am. Maybe I'm a very small percentage, so it like it doesn't affect it, doesn't matter. But I liked having that live, the ability to see it live, see the split, see who comes in first, second, third, fourth, like into a station, and be able to reference backwards and see like, oh, in past races, this is what they did. Uh, and there's a lot of like other websites now that scrub the data from Hyrox's website. I wonder what they're going to do. Like High Results, Roxop. I'm sure there was others. Like,
So that's my question to ask you, Beth, first is, do you think it is possible that the why behind doing this has something to do with other websites and entities, let's, for argument's sake, for lack of a better word, profiting from the information they're getting off the Hyrox website for free?
I think that would be a really like I think that would be a really odd move to make. Like I think the more attention it gets, the better. Like I can't really see that being a why. I think it was more likely around um having their own system where they weren't paying out
Yeah.
for the results for the timing system. Does the new system have the capability for live tracking and it just wasn't working?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
so that's if the new system was or will be the same system with an upgrade, a boost that we just weren't able to see yet, then that's great.
Yeah,
Um, if it takes away, like if it takes away the quality, the ability to see like your breakdown, your results day of right there, because like you go run a triathlon, a marathon or something, you see your splits right away. You see I was in transition one for 3 minutes, I was in transition two for 5 minutes. Like you can see that right away, and it's good. That's good information to know. It's good information for coaches to know, especially when they're tracking their athletes. And to have that right away is important. Now, if they wanted to take that in house and like do already first off what was already there and like add features to it and stuff, that's great. Like that's good. Like you can take it in. If it was just like a money thing, on my opinion, I would have been like, well, let's just charge $5 more a ticket and keep the timing if it's like a money thing to pay for it, because what was there was good. But if you're gonna replace it with something better, that's fine. We just don't know what that better is yet.
If they're going to increase the prices, can they do it not in the US though? Because I feel like they're already the highest.
Did you see there was an interview with Mo and he talked about the places where it was more expensive and where it was cheaper? And they're like, oh, where is it the most expensive? North America, most expensive place to race. And then everywhere else it was different. And I thought to myself, I was like, I didn't realize that they changed the price of the race for different countries.
I'm gonna have to go to India to be able to afford it.
it seems like a shrewd move. What was the other one they
It's
said? They said India and somewhere else.
Spain.
Spain?
Your round
Yeah.
trip flight plus ticket is cheaper if you fly to India than it is to stay in America.
So think about it. Spain used to be famous for really fast courses. So you could go to Spain and get a really fast course and be on the cheapest course as well. I'm moving to Spain. This place
Yeah.
sucks. They get more
Well,
races too.
the problem with the US is we don't have enough races compared to the UK. So, I mean, the demand is just so high, so they could charge whatever.
So if we get more races, they'll be cheaper.
Yeah. Theoretically.
It's never gonna
If
happen.
they, if each race keeps selling out though right away, they're maximizing what they have already. So
Mhm.
I guess
And
the only way to go from here is add more races.
I've never got to really talk to you about this, Anthony. I know Beth and I have talked about it before a little bit. Is a sellout too much right now? Are they putting too many people on the course? Because I believe they are.
I think it depends on one, the size of the venue, and two, how many volunteers you get and how long that day is. Like it really just depends on what the capacity of it is. Like if you're selling it out and reducing the time between heats, like, oh, we can just move it to 10 minutes instead of 15 or 20 because we'll get more people in, then you're just packing full of course that, yeah, that kind of impacts the quality of the event. Now, if you're like, oh, we can extend the time and add this extra 4 hours of volunteers that want to be here, then yeah, why not?
Yeah. I think right now they're for the size of the venues, and I think you can tell by however many laps, right? When you look at the course and you look at the course layout, very simply, if it's if it's more than 2 and 3/4 laps, you cannot have more than 3,000 people there.
Yeah.
Just it seems to be that way. Like that's when I start to hear about, and there was lots, and the reason I bring it up is because Manchester, lots of complaint about overcrowding on the course, on the running course, not being able to get by altercations. I mean, Beth, you went through that list of comments on that post there from UK
Yeah.
XR, and
Yeah.
wow, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah.
And then the other issue is the holding corral at wall balls, which
So,
I don't even understand why that's allowed ever. Like that should never happen.
No, that really shouldn't be a thing. And then really, I think like you probably need to have about 20% more equipment at each station than you have people in each heat in order because like you're gonna have those people that are slower and get caught and so you need to have like at least 20 maybe 25% more equipment at each station than you have running the heats. Like you don't want to run a heat of 50 people and you have 50 ski ergs, you know.
yeah.
You don't want to
Mhm.
run a heat of 50 people and you only have 50 wall ball targets. Like you're gonna get these people clashing. So yeah,
I,
I think that the timing you can figure it out. Like there's got to be a logistical way to figure out, hey, if we send a heat of this many people at this time, here's where with all these expected finish times, because people they should be able to be put in, I expect to finish in this amount of time, right? So you can have the heat scheduled that way. You can do like a flow chart. I know with engineering, there's traffic flowcharts. You can do traffic and simulate it. You could do that with this too, and just say, oh, this many people are on the course at one time, and figure out what like the maximum for flow is and where like any bottlenecks might be.
well, and just reorganizing the wave start times too, like
Yeah.
like having fastest go first and move your way back.
Yeah.
And
And
in
then
that
spread
scenario,
the time out between heat starts when you get to the people that are taking 2 hours, you know?
yeah. But even if you're into the people who consistently take that long, you should still theoretically be able to keep the start times the same between because it's more common. But you we should never have the scenarios where we have open women and then doubles
Pro
men.
doubles, man.
This is just asking for issues, right?
Yeah.
So if like you need to be starting the day with pro doubles men and open doubles men and pro doubles women and slowly working our way back. Um, I know they do it for, and this was said on a podcast just before we went that they do it for atmosphere and stuff to have the pros out with more atmosphere. And I made the comment that like injuries ruin atmosphere, ambulances ruin atmosphere, and people having a shit time ruins atmosphere. I just think they need to
I
progress
I would
that.
be curious because I wonder what the like retention rate is per group, you know? So like if you have open women going and then you have an event where the pro men go right after them, how much of those open women sign up for another event versus like a different event where the pro men go first and the open women are after them? How many of those open women will sign up for a secondary event? Like, I wonder if they've done any analysis like that.
That is some serious analytics there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would be very interesting, but I highly doubt that anyone's dialed that one in. Anyway, so it was a rough go, but like I said, hopefully it's a good thing because it means they'll iron this stuff out for Vegas. And I think the other three events that are happening that same weekend.
Yeah, you got Auckland, Maastricht, and Turin.
Yeah.
And
So
then the following weekend is another three events with
Wow.
Switzerland, Toulouse, and Guadalajara.
we went totally from famine to feast.
Yeah. We went from no events for 6 weeks to a single weekend event and then 4-1, 3-1. There's another 4 weekend event coming up too. Like there's so much happening.
See, now that makes me scared because before I was thinking, okay, they had all these glitches and they got it ironed out from Manchester and Vegas. We're gonna be okay. But how much more will this tax that system when you have all those events going on at once?
I mean, they
Can
have
that play into it? I'm not a tech guy for computers, so I'm just like, can that play into it?
Yeah, the end of February, they got three events happening. Two events. Two
Let's
events.
let's just go on the good happy feels that it will get straightened out. And that, like Anthony says, they're replacing the old system and the new system will have all the stuff the old system did is just taking a bit.
And more.
Just
And more. Anthony's
yeah.
promising more.
I'm hoping for more. I want to take the approach of like, okay, let give him the benefit of the doubt. Here's the opportunity, like show us the full capability of it. Like once we get, okay, here's everything that's going to happen with it, then we can say, okay, either good switch or maybe we should have stuck with Mika.
Yeah. Oh, but you know what?
But I mean,
If I'm
when
Mika and they had to come back to me, I'd be like, oh boys, the price has gone up.
Yeah.
I just
100%. And a lot, not just a little bit. It went up a lot. All right.
that PETA charge.
That's right. Let's just yeah, the butthurt charge. Let's just assume everything's gonna go well and move on to Vegas. This weekend, North America's major, Vegas, Elite 15. Um, Anthony, do you want to start with the who's going?
Yeah. Do you want me to tell
Yeah,
you everyone that's going?
we'll go through
Um,
that. And I did, and just so everybody knows, I have promised that Anthony will not be doing any picks.
yes. Anthony will not be doing any
Anthony
picks.
is here strictly for facts.
That's right. And I'll tell you why I'm not doing any picks. And I'm going to start with the women. So women that the hybrid engine between myself and my wife coach in the elite race only. There's tons of people racing in Vegas in the pro division and other divisions. So I'm only talking about the elite race here. But right now, out of the 15 women that are in for the Elite 15 race, six of them are the hybrid engine athletes. And actually, there's a seventh that would be Maria, who is the next one up if anybody drops out. So if any of the women drop out, and I told her just to be ready, like she's going to race. So if anybody drops out an hour before, 5 minutes before, she's going to jump in.
I am
Uh,
available to do the old Tanya Harding.
yeah. No. I don't want anybody to be hurt. I don't want anybody to be sick or anything. I just if somebody is unable to make it, some circumstances come up, like
Hey,
she's there, she's ready.
JK, right?
Yeah, JK, like that happened to him. He's had the opportunity. There's been other athletes like in Hong Kong, if the next woman up had been there, Lena Putters had dropped out, so somebody would have got in.
Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, so
So I'll go with athletes that I know from our team that are going to be doing that. That's Lauren Weeks, my wife, Kate Davey, Lauren Griffith, Zara Piergianni, uh, Vivian Tafudo, and Jade Skillen. Um, they're all competing. And then, as far as I know, the other women competing are going to be Viola Oberlander, Linda Meyer, Joanna Weitstrick. Weitstrick? I don't want to say her name.
it's
I'm
Viking.
sorry. Okay. Um, Lucy Proctor, Amy Belavacqua, Jana Liebenstead, Seka Arning, Camilla Massa, and Jess Petro.
It's a good list.
That's a strong list.
It's a really strong, but I mean, it always is now, right? Like
Yeah.
it's always strong. And this is the interesting thing is not only are, obviously we're always thinking who's going to podium, who's going to do that, but this time it's like not just who's going to podium, but three qualification spots will be up. And if I'm not mistaken, five of those women have already qualified.
I think four.
Four of those have already
Four,
qualified.
yeah, because there's six people already qualified and Ida and Meg aren't racing. So
Okay.
four of them have
So
already have a spot. So on the women's side, it could roll down to seventh place.
it's almost as more interesting to try to pick who the next qualifiers are
Yeah.
compared to who the winners and stuff are going to be. So, for example, like Lauren and Lauren are qualified, Kate Davey is qualified, and oh my God,
Joanna.
Joanna Weitrick is qualified. So even if you had all three of those picked or four of those picked as your one, two, three, four, it's your next three that are just as interesting because they're going to be they're going to be the ones who get the world spot, which almost seems more exciting than winning the race.
Yeah.
I know it's not, and winning is winning, and that's great, but it's almost like that's it.
It really keeps the race interesting, especially this, like the third and fourth majors are really interesting. If you remember back, Vienna was super interesting. Watching is, Lauren Griffith passed out, but there were people charging, when Vivian and Viola got their spots in Vienna last year.
Mhm.
It was like, who's going to end up in those spots? Are they going to get it? Are they going to catch Linda? Is there going to be another person that can get in? Is Chris Rogowski gonna make it through on this one? And then you look at Washington D.C. last year, where there was 6 people already qualified. So if you wanted to qualify, you had to beat somebody that was already qualified to get into that top 5. And that's when Lauren Griffith ended up getting the 5th place spot, and Amy Bellavacqua, they had that great race. And it was so interesting watching their race between the two of them.
Yeah, it's fun. So, Beth, I didn't say you didn't have to pick, so you do have to pick.
Oh my God. I
You
think
don't,
like
you don't get the Anthony break.
but you want me to pick
Everything, 1 through 15.
That's
No,
just a
I
coin
won't
toss.
make you do it in order. You tell me 3 you think will be on the podium, and the 3 you think will get the qualifying spot. Don't have to be in order.
Um,
I'm kind and generous today.
this gets to be so hard because all these girls now are just so close anymore. Our podium, I'm predicting Lauren Weeks, Kate Davey, and Joanna. Um, oh my God,
But
coming
while
after.
you think about that, I'll tell you my podium. So
Okay,
I had Lauren Weeks, Joanna, and Vivian Tafuto.
Viv. Well, yeah, we don't really know what kind of shape Viv's in.
I don't care. I love Vivian. She's
No,
great.
that's fair.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know what kind of shape Vivian's in. I think she's in great shape.
We
yeah.
know she has excellent coaching.
No doubt. Yeah.
So then it becomes who are the other 3, and it does
Mhm.
it does get harder. But again, so since I've previously done this,
Yeah.
I'm going. So I actually mine are 3. My 3 that I think will qualify get the qualifying spots are Vivian Tafuto, Linda Meyer,
Yeah.
Amy Bevilacqua.
Okay. Hmm.
So now you have to figure it out.
I mean, I would say I think the qualifying spots, my dream qualifying spots, it'd be great if it could if no particular order, if Zara, Vivian, and Jade got them.
Hmm.
I think that'd be
And
fantastic.
that's the
I
pick you should have. Who are you picking to win, Anthony? You better get it right. Otherwise, you might be sleeping on the couch.
lots of people,
No, for the win,
mostly
you
my
only
wife,
have one pick for the win, Anthony. Come on.
always my wife.
There you go. There you go. It could be a game of marbles, and you better pick her.
Oh yeah, I'd pick her for a game of marbles. Pick her for anything. First pick overall, no matter what we're doing. If it's, I don't know, what, kickball? Well, kickball, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's a pretty solid soccer player, isn't she? Oh, this might be a new game. What is Lauren Weeks bad at?
I don't know. Did I ever
Right,
show you the
so
video of her throwing an axe?
oh God, no.
She was in high heels and a dress, and we went to a masquerade party and had masquerade masks on, and she takes 3 axes and it's like bullseye, 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 like hits an axe with an axe. Like
How's her ice skating?
we went ice skating, and that was we were both really sore afterwards. Like lower back was really fatigued.
Hmm.
So maybe something like ice hockey.
Here you go, Beth. Could you and I beat Anthony and Lauren at a game of 2-on-2 hockey?
Yes.
I think we might get them.
Who's the goalie?
Dave.
Yep. Played a lot
Okay,
of goal.
well then, if he's the goalie and I'm the goalie, then it's just going to be between Bethany and Lauren and who skates better. So
Oh, I got her.
That's played a
oh,
lot. That's what I'm confident in best hockey. As long as the
yeah.
plate doesn't break out, I think we're okay.
Look, if it was field hockey,
No, no,
I'd
no,
feel a
no,
little
no.
better. But
We need the
I
ice.
played field hockey too.
oh, okay. Well, then maybe I can just fill up the goal. How big can I be?
Yeah.
No, no. All right. So yeah, all right, Beth, we gave you some time to think here. Come up with your three.
So I'm gonna like the qualifying spots. Did I put Vivian on the podium? She's
No.
gonna take another qualifying spot.
Yeah.
Um, Linda Meyer, oh, and
That's
Zara.
Zara, there you go. That's solid. I mean, it's
Yeah.
I was looking at the list and realistically, so I think the last one on the list, as far as numbers go, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is probably Camilla. Is
Jess.
is it Jess or
Yes,
Camilla?
Petra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would
And
it
you get
would
Jess
it be
Petra was what, sixth in the or sixth and seventh in the last two majors or
would
something?
it be outlandish to see one of those women land on the podium? Like, would it be unthinkable? I know it's not the favorite thing to happen, but that's how the field is starting to go. I mean, you have Lorna and Joanna right now who seem to be maybe a step above. Beyond that, it's a much tighter race. You do have people who are favorites, right? Like Kate's been dominant and stuff like that. She's looked really good, but it does get muddled, you know? So anyway, I just think it's an impressive field and a lot of things could happen.
I mean, yeah, anybody's beatable on any day. They're gonna like it's whose race and what the attrition of the race is and their ability to get there. Like what they're doing this week, and it could be, how travel's going to affect them too. How
I was
much
just
they
going to say that, yeah. How do you think that'll affect some of the Europeans coming over? Where I think it does affect a lot of the North Americans when they go across the other way.
Yeah, I think it affects the men more than the women.
I have
It
no idea
does.
what it would be.
Yeah.
Bethany, is there a scientific reason behind that?
Yeah, we handle sleep loss better.
There you go. There you go. I'm not good with sleep loss.
We're kind of built for it.
There you go. All right. What about the men? Who do we got for the men, Anthony?
So for the men, I want to say the people on
Yeah.
my team first. So the hybrid engine athletes, obviously James Kelly, Bo Wills, and Marcus Wallace. He got in,
Wallace,
rolled
Oh,
Debo.
down
I
there.
love that.
Yeah.
Everybody loves.
Ultimate dark
Isn't there
horse.
anybody more well liked than Marcus Wallace?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. I think he's gonna have a great race. So I I'm hoping he goes out there and surprises himself and everybody else.
He's the terror of Toronto, Marcus Wallace.
And on the men's side, you have, I think, four men or three men. Let's see, three men that will be racing that already have a world spot. Um, So you have to place top six, assuming those three are somewhere in the top six. You have to place top six in order to get your spot. And that's really interesting because if you go back and look at what was it, Amsterdam,
Hmm.
where it was third through 10th were like 40 seconds apart or something, or fourth through 10th were 40 seconds apart.
Yeah.
That just shows you like how critical little pieces of the race are going to be um, there. So the rest of the lineup, anyway, is Hunter McIntyre, Ryan Kent, Dylan Scott, Paleo Menendez Fernandez, Rich
That's the
Ryan,
name of the business.
Yannick Chapla, Tim Vinish, Sean Noble, Rylan Shadeg, who is actually the one that said he pulled out, which got Marcus his spot. Uh, Jonathan Wynn, Joffrey Voisin, Jake Dearden, and Harry Thompson.
So Rylan is back in.
No,
Okay,
Rylan's the one that
Rylan's out.
pulled
Okay,
out.
just the way you said that, I was a little confused.
Yeah,
So Rylan's out and Marcus is in.
yeah.
All right. All right.
So that's, I mean, that's a big, tough lineup right there. Um, I could see one through five just almost, it's going to be awesome.
So Ronkovich is not coming.
No.
Ronkovic's not coming. Sandbatch isn't coming.
Hmm. I thought
Sandbach
Ronkovich
is
was doing all of the majors.
I think that
He
was what he
said
had
he
a
was
chance to
going to
win.
do them all if he was, as long as he won each one, he was going to do them until
Oh.
either he lost or got the clean sweep.
It just happened a little quicker than expected.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh, I lost it. That would be so I've already gone through this. Well, I'll let you mull yours over, Beth. But
Before you make any picks, I want to tell you one stat about somebody you guys really like, somebody I
okay.
like, Dylan Scott.
Yes.
So if anybody doesn't know, Dylan, we know that like he travels overseas, he doesn't always have the best race, right? But in North America, Dylan has not taken anything except for first place in a pro or elite race since Chicago 2023.
There you
He's
go.
won every pro or elite race he's started in North America.
Dylan will actually hear this. So there you go. Um,
So his streak is on the line.
Hmm.
it's going to be a tough one to pull out the win. I'll say that. Um, I do have I do have Dylan on my podium. I have JK, I have Dylan, and I have Hunter on my podium.
That's a really strong podium.
Yeah.
I wrote the same three down, but I could switch my order at with any.
Yeah.
My I actually like obviously I think the podium is I think I do think JK is probably going to take it.
That was
Um,
my thought
I
too.
have a lot of confidence in him. I think Bo will surprise people. I really hope Marcus does too.
Mhm.
Um, but I also think we saw Hong Kong. Tim Vinish is really good. Like he pushed JK right up until the lunges, right? So um, he might be in there. I think him and Dylan and Paleo, like you can't count them out. So as far as like people there and people putting pressure on Hunter and putting pressure on JK, those are the guys that like it's going to be close.
I have a strict tradition of not picking Tim Vinish. I have no idea. I just never seen him pick poor Tim. He is amazing. He's a great guy, great young guy. But yeah, I'm going with it again. I still, yeah, that's still not picking Tim. Um, I think as far as qualifiers for this one, obviously, I think Dylan and Hunter are going to get qualifying spots because I picked them on the podium. And then for that third qualifying spot, it becomes incredibly hard. But just due to that one race in Chicago, I'm going to pick Rich Ryan and the fact that he's kind of, as close as a home race as he's going to get. And I think, he's obviously been on the better. I think he's the one that's going to take it. I do think the travel will affect the Europeans a little bit who haven't done it as much. Do I think Rich is a lock to get that third spot? Hell no. But I got to pick somebody, so I'm going with him.
Yeah, I think in terms of the world spots, I'd really like to see Bo and Marcus go after it. Obviously,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think this is a place where Hunter gets his world spot. Um, like you said earlier, I actually, yeah, I had a very similar podium to you. And I don't know if I think JK wins, but the in terms of the world qualification, uh, Hunter probably takes his. I'm very, very curious where like Rich and Sean Noble. I want to see them because they've both been the ones that have put up good times this year, right? But in both the races they put up good times, there was like nobody else they were racing, or there was like a controversy about it. So I'm very interested to see where they end up in the field now. Like where does that put them?
Here's the deal with Sean Noble. Do you get Sean Noble, the incredible athlete, or do you get Sean Noble, the I brain farted and take many steps on the lunges?
I think I didn't listen to the interview, but I saw you had an interview. I heard a snippet of it about how he was actually like playing the heel and doing that and getting the publicity from that actually gained him like thousands of follow, like tripled his followers. And so
It
maybe it was a
probably
stunt
did.
by him. Maybe,
Maybe. But the
maybe it
question
was a
is,
stunt.
which one do we get? And
You know,
and so that's why I can't go with Sean is because it's just I don't know. It's just I don't know. It's much like I struggle when to pick Sandy when he's in the races because I don't know which one we're getting. And what I've looked at and the reason I went with Rich this year is this year Rich proved he can go 54. Maybe it was a quick course, but he proved that he can put one of the best times out there. And he's like I said, it's just it for him to have a good race, this is a good situation.
yeah. But like you said too, there's a difference though between racing and putting down a 54 when
Mhm.
you're essentially doing it by yourself and there's no
Yes.
pressure on you because you're time trialing something. And that's what Rich did in Chicago.
Yeah.
That's what Sean did in Dublin, right? 55. Like they were able to do that there was nobody pushing them. What happens if there's somebody right next to you that's overtaking you for something and you makes you work a little harder? What happens when you get into a race with every single one of these guys are studs and you don't get to the machine you wanted or you don't get to the lane you were trying to get to, so you end up like kind of in no man's land and have to run a little extra or something, you know? It could play into it. You end up further away from the chalk bucket than you mean to be if you need chalk.
Or somebody steals it and runs away with it.
Or somebody steals it and runs away with it, which you're not supposed to do. That's in the rule book.
We, we all knew you
Is
were
it?
supposed to do it. She did it anyway. All right, Beth, who fills, because you had Dylan and Hunter on there as well. Who fills your
Mhm.
final world spot?
I had Rich and Tim. Tim based off again his performance in Hong Kong, and I think I'm
You
gonna
had
go.
them on the podium because
No, no,
Tim already has a spot to Worlds.
Oh, Tim already
yeah.
has a spot on.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Well,
okay.
that's good though, because didn't you say you
Then,
had Dylan and Hunter on the podium?
mhm.
Yeah, so those are
Neither of
two
them
spots
had a
already.
spot.
So you only can pick one more anyway.
One. Oh, like the number six spot.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna go with Paleo.
Paleo has a spot. So Paleo, JK, and Tim are the ones that already have their world spots.
Oh, okay. So I got to pick one more. Now I'm going seven deep here.
Well, who's your other
So
one? Because
my three podium in no order. Dylan, JK, and Hunter. Although that order
That's
would be
so
pretty
that's
cool.
so
two
that
spots
fills
down.
two.
Yeah.
So then you got to pick one more spot.
Rich Ryan.
That and
So
that's
there's your third.
yeah, that's your
Okay.
third. There you go. And it's a little complicated. It is different because you got to go through everybody, but I think that'll be I think it's going to be even more interesting come Glasgow when you got three more spots gone, and it
Yeah.
really becomes anybody's game.
Well, and it depends on like who's going to show up though, right? Because like once people, if some of these guys get their world spot, just as an example, if Rich gets his spot to Worlds here, do you think he goes to Glasgow?
Not a chance.
If Hunter gets his spot here, I mean, I think he's already said he's going to Glasgow, right? But
I think so. Yeah.
I think he might reevaluate that. Like
Mhm.
maybe he'll choose something else to do.
Possibly. He might go and not race in the race. He might do it
Yeah,
all. So
exactly. So I think it does change it up a little bit. I do think people need to look out for Bo, though. I think his running has definitely improved um, since I've been talking to him, and I think Marcus too. Marcus has man his log, his workout log. It's so strong.
he's a
It's
workhorse.
so strong.
He is
He's
a
just
workhorse.
ready to put something down.
Well, I mean, like he ran in when he was in Toronto, low 57, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
mid
Toronto
57.
in my mind was
Oh,
an average course. Like it wasn't super fast, it wasn't super slow. I think it was kind of in the middle, which well, they should be. So I mean, it was a legit time. Um, and I do think he's got room to improve.
yeah.
He can improve his speed so much, and he is so powerful, right? And he's got the right build for this. Um, Small tangent. Speaking of right build for this, did you watch Wadapalooza?
He didn't. No.
Uh, a girl from Denmark in Wadapalooza, she won the first event, which was like beach running and box overs and assault bike. 5'11", runs every day. She is someone that needs to be plucked into Hyrox. Um,
5'11".
Arnett,
Yeah.
Arnett Tyne or Tind or something like that. I think she's been a games team athlete before.
I've never found the running and CrossFit to be long enough or them to have like that aerobic base. Like it takes, 6 to 12 months to build something enough that
Yeah.
they could actually sustain their runs for the whole
But
length of the High
she's
Rocks.
one that put it so she won the first event. So she beat Laura Horvath, she beat all those others, she beat Emily Rolfe and all these on these running events. And afterwards in her interview, she's thanking her 6 a.m. running group. She is a runner. So
Nice.
this is someone that we need to we're gonna see we're gonna get hold of Ida and get Ida get a hold of her and bring her in. Anyway, yeah, so just as you were saying, Marcus really good. And just thinking about he has a build for Hyrox, and that's what made me think of her, is I think she has a great build for Hyrox too. Um, it'll be it'll be a good race. I mean, I think so much will just come down to how people handle, like a lot of the European influence will how they handle travel and can affect so much. Like I think about someone like Viola Oberlander, who to me is always depends on how she's handled the travel for the day. Because some days she can be the best out there, and other days it's just not there. So she's a person that if I was in the race would scare me.
Yeah, I think between her and Linda, they have like that great potential. Obviously, we saw it, right? Like both of them, they've been top five at Worlds several years, like
Mhm.
going on now. Both of them have been at least second at Worlds, at least twice for Viola and once for Linda. So they have that real ability. I think what it is just how has their training gone the last 3 months?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Have they had setbacks? That kind of stuff is going to impact and dictate what this race is going to go. Now, Viola, she's tough as nails. Like
yeah.
she's so tough that I really feel no matter what it is, she's going to go out there and she's going to race hard. Um, so it's just
That's
what it's been the last few months, and we'll see.
yeah. That's why she scares me. She is that she's a warrior. She is
Yeah,
just
and like even travel. I mean, even from the East Coast isn't exactly easy. It's still a 3 hour time change. Anybody coming from the East Coast over here, so it's not simple. But you talked about the last two people in were Camila Massa and Jess Petro, right? And you asked like, oh, would you think will they be able to get a spot? Well, Jess was, I think, fifth, right? Fifth place in Amsterdam. Like, if she takes fifth here, that's a spot.
yep.
And I'd really like to see Maria. If she gets in, I think she takes a spot. Like, so
If Maria has a race like she did at that last chance qualifier, then yeah, yeah.
well, I think if she just goes out there and does what she's able to do, she raced super well in Dallas on what
Mhm.
was considered not a great course. She raced super well in Toronto. She was racing well and would have done really good on not a great course in Anaheim, but she had that sled penalty.
Mhm.
Um, but you take that out, like she's right there, and I just think it's there. She's right there too.
Listen to me.
So I think
He's
it's
selling us on the Canadian girl.
yeah. Do I need to sell you on her? Like, how do we get her into this race?
That's awesome. Um, Beth, personally, going to Vegas. What are you running? What are you looking forward to?
Well, it's changed now that they put the pro women too close to the mixed doubles on the Sunday. So I've had to drop the pro women race and focus on the doubles. But if anyone has a pro ticket for women on Saturday, I would race open too. I will take it. But
I would take a men's for Saturday as well if anyone has one.
yeah, I would love to race on Saturday if anyone had one, but yeah, we're doing doubles. We've qualified for Worlds, so it was going to be a good like a good tester for us, a good workout to do together. So yeah, that's our goal. Run a PB with the both of us. So yeah, that was my goals. It kind of changed, which is too bad, but
And
that's how it is
Anthony,
sometimes.
are you racing this one? Is this the big race?
I am doing a pro doubles with JK,
There
pro
you
men's
go.
doubles. Um,
How
my
sore are you going to be?
I don't think I'll be that sore. Like I work out. I just every time I work out, I always am working out around or with or comparing my own scores internally to these elite athletes that I see and coach, and I'm like, wow, they're so much better than me. I don't think I'm unfit. I just think my relative scope of who I
Yeah.
see my scores compared to is I'm bottom of that barrel. So
So what's your strategy for racing with JK then?
oh, so we just did a strategy episode that on our doubles, but basically I'm going to overwork my threshold pace just a little bit on every single run. And I'm going to do the middle portion of all the stations except for the row. So basically, JK is going to start and end every station, and I'm going to do the middle. Um, and so basically, hopefully, it's just an interval workout for me. Hard thousand, minute rest, minute work, minute rest, hard thousand for just about everything.
Mhm.
Um, so I think we'll do good. But my whole goal, I know, so JK wants to beat Dylan and his partner because we learned that Dylan's going to be doing a race there, and it's not with Magida. I heard a rumor it might be with Chandler Smith.
Yeah.
Uh, but is that who it's with? Because okay, well, our goal then is not my goal. JK wants to beat them, but I don't care so much as placement. I want to our time with me and JK to be faster than his individual pro race time. I just want to know that
You're not
I'm
holding
not an
back.
anchor. I don't slow him down.
I felt the same way when I would run the mile with Bethany. I'd be like, we just need to go faster than a normal time. That's all.
Yeah, like if as long as our final time is lower than what he can do by himself, because it's the exact same race.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So as long as our time is lower than what he does by himself, I'm gonna be just fine.
Now, here's the thing.
Uh,
That sounds like
oh
oh,
yeah,
it's just
that sounds
incredible.
easy, but that means
No,
we're
no, yeah,
probably
it
gonna have
sounds.
to run a
Oh, you're
53.
being silly. Of course, it's going to be. No, no, not necessarily. Like his
Like
solo time is ridiculous
his,
fast.
I mean, say he runs a PR the night before, right? Comes in probably mid 53 or low 53 or something.
Mhm.
I have to run a 53 with him. I'm my solo Hyrox time is a 66.
Yeah.
So I have to run 13 minutes faster. He has to be worth 13 minutes to me, and I have to be not a detriment to him. I think the way we do that is I just really have to push my runs harder than I want to. And the way we're breaking up the stations, like I I think like because if we only did the station workouts, I'd be stronger.
Mhm.
But it's the whole fatigue built up over time. Like last time I did a Hyrox, I cramped at the lunges so bad that like I ran my last thousand on my heels with my toes up in the air. And wall balls are really hard when both your calves are cramping, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. You get no spring in the leg whatsoever.
Yeah. So we'll see. But the goal is to keep up on the runs.
That's, I'd be impressed, dude. I know I couldn't do it. Like I wouldn't have a hope. I couldn't. He'd be waiting for me for a minute and a half at the zone. I'd be
I
like,
did. So I did a solo practice. Like I set the treadmill to the slower actually than the pace I want to run, and then I have each station set up and like assumed I'm resting while he would be working, and
yep.
I broke it down, and I think my solo finish time as our doubles race was 53. So I'm like, all right, that's what I got to do. And I did it. I did it while watching his Hong Kong race, and I beat him. So I was like, all right. I can do that.
I love it. That's awesome. Pure motivation. That's fantastic. Well, I will be doing my doubles race with Riley again. We're having more of a fun run this time because she's not been having the best training cycle going in, fighting a few things. But I as well would like to find a Saturday race if I could jump in on one, and perhaps I will get disqualified, and perhaps I won't.
When do you and Rye race? What day?
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday afternoon.
Yeah,
You go. Oh, so you race before the women's relay.
yeah. Women's relay is like later on, right? Like,
Yeah, it's at 7:20 p.m. Do you
yeah,
think you'll be done by
I,
then?
yeah. I think well, Beth, we're probably running. We may even be in the same wave. We don't know yet, but it'll be. I think it's between noon and 1:40. Does that sound right?
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. So we'll be
Yeah.
in that time there. Oh yeah, we'll be done long before the women's relay.
So you might not be able to make it then. We're doing a community
I
hike out
know.
near Red Rock. And because of how late the men's doubles pro is, we're going to start the hike at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And we're going to do it at a place called First Creek. First Creek is basically just the turnoff right outside Red Rock National Park
Mhm.
because we didn't want people to have to pay to go into Red Rock National Park to do this hike. So if you want to do like Calico Basin and hike through the actual Red Rocks afterwards, it's super awesome. But you got to pay like $12 a car or something to take the 13-mile loop road. So we're gonna
Have you had to pay for that for a long time? Because I don't remember paying when I went through there.
you've had to pay for it. I mean, ever since it became a national park, I think. Like
Okay.
it's
Well, I
been
was
it's
there in
been quite a while.
2017. I may have just been, you know,
Oh yeah, you've
brand.
definitely had to pay at least since
Okay.
2017.
All right. Well, either I snuck in or I don't remember.
Or
But
if you had a national parks pass,
I
well, you
do
probably didn't have that.
not.
Yeah.
I do not, unless my rental car had
Different
it.
nation.
Yeah, but that said, I loved it. It was an absolutely beautiful place to go. I
Yeah.
like it was probably my well, I did also did a helicopter trip into the Grand Canyon, but
Oh, that's cool.
other than that, it was my favorite part about Vegas was that Red Rock place. It
Yeah.
was amazing.
So lots of cool things happening over the weekend. We'll be around both all day Saturday. The Elite 15 race is I think 5 or 6 o'clock. The women start and the men go an hour and a half later on Friday.
Yeah.
There's the race all day Saturday, and then on Sunday, it sounds like both you guys are racing. It'd
Mhm.
be cool if you race Saturday too. We'll be able to catch some of that, and then the women's elite race. Well, it's not an elite race, but it is for Elite
Pretty elite.
15 women. Yeah. Um, Lauren Weeks, Lauren Griffith, Zara Piergianni, and Kate Davey are going to do a relay. I'm super excited.
Beth, do you feel left out that you weren't asked?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? All
We
right,
can make
guys.
another team. I think we have enough women to have another team.
Yeah,
There you go.
probably.
Oh, and then what if you beat them, Beth? Then
We
the
could
oh,
do like a Canadian contingent, like me, Chelsea, Maria, and Katie Simonson.
Yeah, there you
oh,
go.
that's
Mhm.
actually
That'd be a really good
you
one.
should do
Mhm.
that.
You should
I
do that
know.
anyway.
I'm gonna be making some phone calls. Give me a minute.
So if anybody
Happen.
doesn't, I don't know what the men's pro race is going to look like in Vegas outside of the Elite 15, but I know the women's pro race in Vegas is also going to be stacked.
Hmm.
So if Maria doesn't get into the Elite 15, she's going to race pro. Um, I think Morgan Schultz is going to be there. I think Chris Rogowski's going to be there. I think Tara Jackson's going to be there. Like there are some good athletes
There's another
still
good relay
racing.
team.
Yeah, there are some good athletes still racing the pro race in Vegas. So um, I hope they have a good course.
It promises to be a good weekend. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else
Cool.
you guys want to say about Vegas and in lieu of getting ready for it?
Are you ready for it?
Not really, no, but I'm gonna go anyway. I'm never ready for anything. I just
Wait,
go.
ready or not, it's coming.
That's
So
right, man.
Yeah.
I don't get ready. You just show up. I just show up and wear plaid and run. Slow.
nice.
Move stuff. All right, guys. Beth, take us home.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anthony, for joining us. And we're really looking forward to this weekend and seeing so many of you. So come up and say hi. We always appreciate it. So thanks so much for listening.
And if you need some good training, check out the hybrid engine.
Cool. Thank you guys. I love listening to this podcast, by the way.